Welcome to the Box Score Sports Podcast.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Box Score Sports YouTube channel. I'm your host, Ryan. On today's episode, we are going to preview every single NBA team, and we're going to start with the Utah Jazz. We're going to have every team out there, so look out for your team and your video. Let us know in the comments down below how you feel about your team going into the season, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. We're going to start with the Utah Jazz, and Clint, you're doing that with me. We're going to go on this journey together of every NBA team in Utah. Joy, we get to start with them, huh?
Hey, you got to start somewhere, and why not start with the Jazz?
Okay, so let's just talk a little bit about their season last year. They were 17-65. They ended up getting Kyle Anderson, Kevin Love, George Niang, and Nurkic in the draft. Ace Billy and Walter Clayton Jr. Those were the two big draft picks. Departure: Clarkson, Collins, and Sexton were their three big ones. Okay, so let's talk about their strength going into the season. Now, if you want our thoughts on their offseason, we do have videos out there. I think we did it by division, though, so you'll have to check out the division. So tell me, Utah strength going into the season, or what you're looking forward to, either one.
Yeah, I think their biggest strength is like their front office / coaching staff.
Like it.
And I know that sounds like lame because it's a players' league, right? Like players are actually the ones going to play, but I think that helps when we talk about Ace Bailey, when we talk about Walter Clayton Jr., some of their young guys, Walker Kessler, Kyle Slipowski. If you have a good coaching staff, you can build on that. So I think the strength is that you have a really good coach. You're going to coach these guys up. It's probably going to be an ugly year again, but I think what you're looking for and what they did in the process of the offseason is kind of clear out those guys, get shots for the young guys, have some vets, and then, this is probably they're hoping their springboard, especially with they seem to make a point to get Ace Bailey, even if he didn't seem to want to go there at first. They made that pick. I think with a good coach, we can develop that.
Yeah, so I agree. That's a huge strength for them is their front office / coaching. So I'll give you a different one. I said nothing can help a fan base endure troubled times if you give them something to hope in. And that's what they got is a lot of hope on their team, like a lot of young players, like you mentioned them also, but in specific, Ace Bailey, Hendricks, Walter Clayton Jr. These guys are guys that you want to see grow and develop. So the hope that they have going into the season, I think, gives the fan base something to look forward to, something to watch, and it's something to be excited or a strength going into the season that they have, and they have a good front office to build on that. So I think those two things can be a positive looking at the Jazz.
Yeah, for sure. And, you have some trade pieces that maybe can, dangle a few more things, maybe some picks to again build that war chest.
Yeah, agreed. Give me a weakness or something that you're dreading going into the season with the Jazz.
I think you're going to have some shooting problems. I mean, I know Markkanen's a good shooter. Ace Bailey, that could be hit or miss. But I think you're just looking for flashes. Again, we know Walker Kessler is not really a shooter. So I think, of all the problems, there's going to be a lot, for a team that won 17 games that probably isn't going to win many more than that this year. It's just, you're going to have some spacing issues. I think it's going to look ugly at times, especially when you play young guys. Rookies usually don't make a positive impact, so you're looking for flashes. But I tend to think, some of the spacing, it might make it look quite unwatchable at times. But again, if you have your expectations right, if you're a Jazz fan, you're just looking for flashes.
Yeah, so again, coming from a Piston fan, I totally agree with that. Good point. But coming from a Piston fan who went through this for the last 5 years, The weakness or like the thing that you're most dreading is like another bad season and then not getting the payment in the end where you get a high draft pick. There's no guarantee now with the way the draft odds are. Likely, even if you get the worst record, you like the Pistons did, they dropped to five, 2 or 3 times in a row. So it's just the going through those growing pains and having to do it all over again where you're watching your team only win 17 games. Um, and you kind of want Ace Bailey to hit because right now, even though they have a lot of young talent, nobody has really stood out. Like there was moments with some of these young guys, like I think of George. Like there was some moments where you're like, oh, he could be something, but then it's like, well, maybe not. We don't know. Hendricks got injured last year, so it would be nice if they had one guy that you're at least trying to like, oh, there's something here, and there might be with Ace Bailey or whatever, but you wish they also had one other guy that like you could lean on as like that guy. But anyway, I'm gonna just say like the weakness, the thing that I dread the most is like another 17 win season. Fun. Yeah.
They're not fun.
They're not fun. No.
You have recent experience with the Pistons and that, but you're right. It's tough if you. What did they get, the fifth pick last year?
Yeah, I think
they were
so.
the fifth.
I mean,
Yeah, so I mean, you win 17 games and you get the fifth pick. And this year, again, if you're going to win 17 games and not get a top 1 or 2 pick, you're right. That's kind of disheartening.
yeah. Okay. Big question going into the season for the Jazz.
I think if what they're going to do with Lauri Markkanen, I think we thought they were going to trade him a couple times. I've seen a couple things that they're open to it now, but who knows if that's legit or not. But I think that's kind of the mark of the season. He looked really good in Eurobasket. I think maybe they held on because he didn't have a great year last year. But if they're going to make a move to get some picks, to get some young guys, again, I think after last year, they just decided we need to clear the deck and let these young guys go. Markkanen, if they want to see Filipowski more, kind of got to move Markkanen, but he's their big piece. I think that's the question the season revolves around as far as your assets.
Yeah, that's the question I had. So I'll just add like even Kessler, he's been in trade rumors a bunch. I think he's 24, so he's still kind of young. So he can kind of fit your timeline, but you've been dangling that carrot out there as well. So are you going to move on from him as well? And then I think just another big question is just like is Ace Bailey really bought in? Because I think he is a talent and he's saying the right things now, but it was a rough patch in the beginning, right? So you got to hope he's bought in to whatever the Jazz sold him on, and he's truly bought in because otherwise, a mentality like his, when you're 5-30, is he still going to be bought in at that point? It's easy to say now, so he's got to be like totally bought in. That's another big question I think we'll see answered as the season goes on.
For sure, he seems kind of highly volatile, not even in a bad way, but he seems there's a fine line to walk with him at this moment.
He's good. I think he's going to be one of those players you're going to love when you're winning, and then when you're losing, you're not going to like him so much. Like I think he's going to be one of those guys. Like everybody will excuse all his behaviors because they're winning, and then they'll like, oh, he's the problem because they're losing, which isn't fair either way. But yeah. What would So we're going to talk about the success. So what would make the Jazz season a success in your mind?
Again, we've talked about him. I think it's just seeing flashes from Ace Bailey, whether it's engagement, whether it's defense, not checking out, closing out, and then just does he show signs that he could be a one or a two? If you see that in flashes, again, you're not going to see it every night. But if you get towards the end of the year and you're like, all right, this guy looks like, hey, he could be a 2 on a good team, I think that's a win. So you want to cultivate that while also not just turning him into a chucker, why I think the coaching staff will help in that regard. Because some of these teams get these guys and they're just like, hey, shoot your shot, kind of like Philly did. And you got guys taking 25 shots a game and you're like, well, if we draft someone above you, how happy is he going to be then?
Right. Yeah, and I put that too. I was a little bit more general about it. Can they find a legit guy like that that's a building block? So ideally it would be Ace Bailey, but could it be Walter Clayton Jr.? Could they find a way to make him like a, because I think he's 6 foot, he's a little smaller guard, so could he be kind of like a Jalen Brunson, right? Or could it be Collier is another guy that's a young guy on their team, Hendricks, Kyle, I'm not gonna, Filipowski, like those guys. Can one of them stand out to the point where you're like, okay, this is a building block for our team and we're confident in that? I would say that would be a successful season as well. I do agree with the Ace Bailey thing, but even if it was Walter Clayton Jr. and he's like having a great season and you're like, man, he could be a point guard on a winning team, I think that would also be a successful season.
I would agree.
Okay, prediction.
I think they're going to be around that 20 win mark again. I think the reason they cleared the deck was to get these young guys minutes, and it's going to look good and it's going to look really bad. So they're going to be one of the, bottom 4 teams in the league.
Yeah, I agree. I have lottery. I kept it simple. I did like lottery play-in, playoff contender. I did lottery. They're a lottery team. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Okay, anything else on the Jazz?
I don't think so.
Okay, so thanks, Clint, for joining me. Thanks, everybody else, for watching the video. Please like and subscribe to the channel if you like what you're hearing. Leave in the comments down below what your predictions are for the Jazz season. What are your strengths, weaknesses, questions? What would you constitute as success? Leave that in the comments down below. Thanks so much for watching, and we will talk to you guys real soon. Thanks so much for watching this clip of the Box Score Sports Podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to our channel. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter or X. And we'll talk to you guys real soon. See ya.